Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a truly dramatic and, let's be honest, a surprisingly relatable story. It's a tale about a man who gets a divine mission and then does the absolute opposite. This is the story of Jonah, and wow, does it hold some powerful lessons about running from your calling and the incredible nature of second chances. So let's just frame the whole thing with this one big question, because it's something we all think about. What happens when you feel a pull, a clear direction for your life, and you just decide, nope, and run the other way? It's a classic human struggle, and Jonah's story gives us a pretty unforgettable answer.
And here it is, the calling, the command from God to the prophet Jonah, and it is crystal clear. Go to Nineveh. Now, Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire. We're talking a massive, powerful, and, well, a notoriously wicked city. And Jonah's job? Go tell them they're in big trouble. This is the moment that kicks everything off.
So, does Jonah pack his bags and head to Nineveh? Does he jump right into his prophetic duty? Not even close. Instead of obeying, Jonah makes a very conscious, very deliberate choice to flee.
Now, this is what I find so fascinating, the sheer geography of his disobedience. Nineveh was to the east. Tarshish, on the other hand, was likely in modern-day Spain. That's at the far western edge of the known world at the time. He didn't just hesitate, he literally booked a ticket to go as far as humanly possible in the opposite direction. He was trying to escape from the presence of the Lord.
You know, this slide shows such a key life lesson. Running from our responsibilities, it's almost never a single impulsive act. It's a series of choices. Jonah had to go down to the port, he had to find the right ship, he paid his own money for the ticket, and then he boarded. Each step was another willful move away from his purpose. But here's the thing. Running from a divine mission, well, it has consequences. And in Jonah's case, they aren't just personal. His private decision is about to create a very public, very dangerous crisis for a whole ship of innocent people. And bam, suddenly this storm of supernatural intensity just slams into the ship. This is not just some bad weather. The text says the ship itself was like to be broken. It's a direct response to Jonah's running, a physical storm mirroring the internal turmoil of his disobedience.
And here we see this incredible contrast. The sailors are in a full-blown panic. They're praying to their gods, they're throwing valuable cargo overboard to save their lives. And where's the guy who caused all this chaos? He's down in the hold, fast asleep. It's such a powerful image of how running from our own stuff can make us totally oblivious to the damage we're causing others. So in a last-ditch effort, the sailors decide to cast lots. It's kind of like drawing straws to get an answer from the divine. They want to know who's responsible for this mess. And, of course, the lot falls on Jonah. The universe, or maybe just random chance, points its finger right at the one guy trying to hide. His escape is officially over.
He's cornered, he's exposed, and finally, Jonah confesses. To his credit, he takes responsibility, admitting, yep, this storm, it's my fault. And his solution is drastic, but it's also his first step back toward accountability. He offers his own life to save the innocent men on that ship.
After trying everything else, the sailors reluctantly throw him overboard. And the effect is instantaneous. The raging storm just stops. It goes completely calm. Can you imagine being on that boat? It was undeniable proof. Jonah was the problem, and getting rid of him was the solution.
But for Jonah, being tossed into the sea isn't the end. It's actually the beginning of his lowest point, and paradoxically, the very place where his real transformation begins. He has literally hit rock bottom.
For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah is trapped inside this great fish. Just think about that. Total isolation, total darkness. It is the ultimate consequence of his decision to run, and it's the one place where he has absolutely no choice but to finally confront himself.
And it's from this place, what he himself calls the belly of hell, that Jonah finally prays. After running as far as he possibly could from God, he now has nowhere left to turn but to God. This is the cry of a completely broken man who has lost it all. But then, right in the middle of all that despair, a little flicker of faith comes back. Even though he's been cast away, even after his massive failure, he decides he's going to look again toward God. This is the crucial turning point. It's that shift from running away to turning back.
God hears his prayer and commands the fish to, well, spit Jonah out onto dry land. His ordeal is over, and now he's face to face with a second chance to finish that mission he tried so hard to escape. The command is exactly the same, arise, go to Nineveh. But the man? The man is completely different. Humbled, transformed by everything he's been through, Jonah doesn't run this time. He just gets up and goes. He's learned his lesson about obedience the hard way. So Jonah delivers what has to be the shortest, grumpiest sermon in history, basically just a warning that they've got 40 days until they're destroyed. And the response is absolutely astonishing. The entire city, from the king on his throne to the humblest citizen, believes him and immediately repents in the most dramatic way possible.
So God sees their genuine change of heart, that they really did turn from their evil ways, and he relents. He shows mercy and spares the city. The mission is a massive, stunning success.
Okay, you'd think this is where the story ends, right? With a triumphant hero? But no. In a final, fascinating twist, Jonah is not happy. In fact, he's furious. And this leads to the story's ultimate and maybe its most important lesson.
So get this, Jonah is angry because God showed mercy to his enemies. He wanted judgment, not grace. He is so upset that he tells God he'd rather be dead. His perspective is still all wrapped up in his own expectations and prejudices.
To teach him one last lesson, God basically orchestrates a little real-time parable. He grows a plant to give Jonah shade from the sun, which makes him happy. Then he sends a worm to kill the plant and a harsh wind to make Jonah miserable again. And Jonah gets deeply, ridiculously angry over the loss of this plant.
This slide just breaks it down so perfectly. God calls him out on his flawed perspective. He basically says, Jonah, you have all this pity for a gourd, a plant you didn't even make that only lasted a day. You care that much about a plant?
And you think I shouldn't have pity on an enormous city with more than 120,000 people? And the whole story just ends right there with that question hanging in the air. It forces Jonah, and it forces us, to think about the vastness of God's compassion compared to our own small, often selfish judgments. It's a timeless challenge, really, to expand our own capacity for mercy.